If there's one thing we can all agree on, it's that your time and money matters. Understandably, everyone watching this has precious time on this earth. Not to get too philosophical on you, but we all got a finite amount of time before we all kick the bucket. So naturally, it's probably a good idea we all do the things we love before we leave this world. That's a little bit bleak, but there's a lot of things in this life that also annoy me. Stuff like long wait times, bad optimization, and of course, when companies get really greedy beyond the normal scope of their greed already. This brings me to two companies at the core of this video, Valve and Activision Blizzard. And also, this video will be more positive too, by the way, I promise, because this is more so showing how despite companies wanting to screw you over all the time, they're getting a big F you instead. But you see recently players started noticing in Call of Duty Black Ops 6 that Activision Blizzard was pushing in-game ads on them without their consent. This originated on this Reddit post as seen here, where the user shows how Call of Duty now pushes ads on you while you're in your loadout screen. The ads being pushed are from Black Ops' store page, which is obviously available already by clicking on that tab in-game. But now, Activision Blizzard has decided they don't want their players to escape these store bundles at all. And they're even pushing these onto players based on their preferred weapon loadouts. It's kind of genius actually. You like using the AK-47 or maybe the M16 a lot. Well, look at this shiny bundle that coincidentally makes your M16 look even cooler. Wow, don't you want to buy it? Come on, open your wallet already. Is this predatory? Absolutely. The ads became intrusive enough that even Insider Gaming caught wind of this in this article seen here, where they report on that same story. And according to Insider Gaming, these forced ads are not only in the loadout screen, but they're showing up all over Black Ops 6. So no matter which tab you're in, Activision wants your eyeballs to be lusting after whatever overpriced gun bundle they got going on at the same time. And as you can see here from Reddit, another user showed how even on the event screen they have ads being pushed onto them as well. It's not the only two places either. Here's the weapon selection screen as seen by another user on Reddit, and lo and behold, they're also pushing ads on you there too. So they don't want you to escape this at all. And players in the comments are saying, wow, this is a little too much, especially because Black Ops 6 is not free to play. It's a premium full-priced video game. As one user replied in the comments, I wouldn't even be mad if this was just in Warzone, a free game, but putting it in a pay-to-play premium title with how expensive they're getting, F off. Yeah, this greed knows no bounds, and they really just want you buying these bundles seemingly all of the time. However, following this backlash from the Season 4 update, Activision Blizzard has, as seen here from GameSpot, Call of Duty's intrusive in-game ads were a test and added an error, Activision says. Yeah, we're not buying that for even a second, are we? There's no way, dude. Look, if I know anything about AAA, especially from what I've been told from devs, it's that nothing gets past the higher-ups in these companies. Every decision, no matter how small it is, has to be okayed and finalized by the people in charge before it gets implemented. So I guarantee you that this was beta tested, okayed, and signed off in some meeting between Activision's higher-ups to push ads onto players even more. They would reply by saying this: a UI feature test that surfaced select store content in the loadout menus was published in the Season 4 update. An error, this feature has now been removed from the live game. Yeah, you lie, Activision Blizzard. You guys know what you did. What worries me is this next paragraph, which said, the replies to Activision's post are full of people claiming Activision is gaslighting fans and offering a poor excuse for what happened. Some people replied to say that the new UI feature was helpful to them as it surfaced a specific weapon or bundle that they might have otherwise never seen. You morons. Why are you giving them credit for this? You're just going to embolden them to do it even more in the future. Well, I mean, at least it's not as bad as maybe NBA 2K. Back in the 2020 version of that game, as seen here on screen, Take-Two quite literally stopped you from playing the game until a full-blown ad played on screen before you were even allowed to keep playing the game. A full-price game, mind you, which also during that time, NBA 2K was also responsible for raising game prices to $70 too. So you can thank them for that too. Also, not really related, but apparently as also seen here, the next Call of Duty is Modern Warfare 4 and will be set in North and South Korea. It will also feature the number 4 in South Korean to insinuate that the game is taking place there. Yeah, I know, maybe not really related so much, but just thought you'd want to know. But anyways, what does this have to do with Valve or Steam? Well, technically what Activision did here is grounds for Steam to ban their game pretty much, although I think we can all agree that probably won't happen. Although, back in February January 2025, Valve made it very clear, and here's a Kotaku article on it, Valve bans forced in-game ads from all Steam titles. According to Valve's Steam documentation, no game under any circumstances will be allowed to force game ads onto players no matter what the reason. As seen here, Valve makes it explicitly clear that what companies think they can do is not actually allowed on their platform. They state that devs can't use paid ads as a business model or require players to watch ads in order to play, so that NBA 2K clip that you saw, yeah, that would be grounds for banning on Steam. You also can't advertise your game to tell people to leave Steam to play elsewhere, and so on and so forth. Steam also won't allow devs to charge other devs to access Steam features, as you're seeing on screen here too, and this is all good, mind you. That Valve, despite the money that they could be making on allowing the gates to be open to greed like this so openly, are instead saying, actually, you know what, we're good, and hey, integrity, that matters more to me. Which, let's be real, that's kind of not normal for big companies like this to do, but hey, seeing Valve do this is honestly great. And the point of all of this is that a lot of companies, especially the ones who run mobile games, which Steam also doesn't allow, mind you, on their platform, are unfortunately very, very profitable. Mobile games, in case you don't know, make an SHIT ton amounts of money, and it's really only because of Valve's integrity to not allow this that your games aren't getting swarmed like crazy. This is also not allowed either on PlayStation. As for Xbox, I don't really know, but I would wager it's probably the same too, but there needs to be a clear distinction between this is a premium experience and this one is a free-to-play one. Although, to be real, if even free-to-play games like Marvel Rivals suddenly didn't allow me to play unless I watched an ad first, I would delete the game myself and never look back. I just personally don't think that ads have any place in video games. Okay, the only ads that make sense, I guess, is if you're playing a racing game and you see like a company ad on the side as you drive by, or someone is wearing, let's say, Nike shoes in a skateboarding game or something like that. But if you stop me from playing by putting ads on screen, I'm going to turn into the Hulk and just start smashing things. However, it's not all sunshine, because companies still obviously want to push a more ad-unfriendly experience onto you. And it's not really new, and this is from Creative Salon in 2024, and it's titled How Advertising Found Its Power Up in Gaming. As they claim right here in the beginning, which says gaming advertising revenue is on track to nearly double by 2027, while reaching a whopping $100 billion by 2025. So we're talking around $200 billion in ad revenue by 2027. That's insane, dude, but hey, it makes money, so I guess it makes sense. That being said, there is that saying of when too much of a good thing can be really bad, and while sure there's money to be made, we should also remember that this can and will come at the cost of human souls in the long run, because people aren't robots and their needs should be respected. You can't just force 30 ads on loop in between gameplay matches to think that, oh, this is okay. And really, the only thing stopping, well, any of these big corporations like Valve or Sony from doing this is really their own leadership. Because all it would take is a single okay and then a signature on a piece of paper, or I guess a digital one, and we would all be swimming in tons of Old Spice commercials and the latest car ad telling us how we can upgrade for zero down payment. Buy now. Cool. But I guess like me and you, we probably don't care. Just let us play our video games in peace, you freaking psychos. Maybe this is why so many people are turning back to the basics of just playing older games, namely single player ones, because at least there the intrusiveness of today's nonsense is not really a thing. A great example actually is The Witcher 3, a game that just continues to keep breaking new thresholds every year it seems. 2025 is now 10 years of Witcher 3, an amazing game, I think we can all agree on that. It's also a game that's on the surface doesn't make much sense financially in 2025 either. Let me explain, okay? It's a multi-region open world RPG game with player choice and no forced slop in it. Playing Witcher 3 today genuinely feels like you've been transported into another world that no longer exists. Because gaming, for the most part, outside of a very few select examples that are more so anomalies than the norm, unfortunately, prove that we haven't gotten many games of the quality or sheer scope of Witcher 3 in a very long time. Elden Ring is probably the closest to that, but again shows how these sorts of experiences, these genre-defining, oh my god, they're amazing level experiences, are very few and far between. As GameIndustry.biz here said, The Witcher 3 has earned almost $650 million after a decade on shelves. This equates to roughly 60 million plus copies of Witcher 3 that have been sold in the past 10 years, and I mean, hey, that's great. It's a truly generational game. Even its expansions, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine, are honestly amazing. Like, I don't think people realize how good you actually had it back then, because a stark reminder that Hearts of Stone, which added something like a 20 to 30 hour campaign, plus all the new quests and more, was retailed for, and no, I'm not kidding, this is from a Polygon article in 2015, as you can see here. Hearts of Stone retailed at $10, dude. $10 for all that content. And Blood and Wine, the final expansion for Witcher 3, that launched at $20. And that was like another, 30 hours long or so? And it was an entire new region with quests and monsters and even new gear to chase. We really didn't know how good we had it back then, huh? Nowadays, you can buy a single Call of Duty gun bundle for the price of both Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine combined. And yet that has become so normalized that what CDPR did back in the day with their cost versus price of their expansions was actually genuinely insane now looking back at it. And I think we can all agree that nothing would make Witcher 3 worse if in between fast traveling or playing for an hour if a random commercial just shot up on screen, in between Geralt playing Gwent or killing some monster. But like I said, realistically, the only thing between that reality is people like Gabe Newell and more of Valve. And it is great to see that at least some people in the industry have not only a backbone, but honestly, a conscience too. While sure ad revenue will allegedly skyrocket to like $200 billion in just 2 years alone, again, is that price really worth the cost of players? And why is it that really the only thing stopping the industry from becoming an absolute hellhole is just a few hundred people at best deciding that they don't want to get too greedy? A reminder that, as this 2024 article from Ars Technica explains, Valve is only about 350 people at best. Might sound like a lot, but not really when you think about how large and expansive Steam as a platform is. What's very interesting, as seen here in this graph, is that Valve's retention rate for employees has been very consistent for years now. People that work there, they often stay. They just continue doing what they need to, and overall Steam is kind of just ran with the skeleton crew at best. And it's kind of wild how this relatively small company is kind of one of the only things protecting you from, well, everybody else just taking advantage of you. It's actually kind of amazing. Really does show you that size doesn't mean anything. Or at least that's what I tell myself when I stand naked in the mirror. But the point remains that Valve is tiny yet mighty, and that most AAA studios eclipse them in size. Some companies like Ubisoft have over 16,000 employees. Yet this small 350 company of Valve is far, far more influential. I think we can all agree on that one. And from a numbers perspective, according to Ars Technica, Valve raked in roughly $6.5 billion in revenue in 2024, putting them just behind mega giants like Electronic Arts, which made $7.5 billion in 2024 by comparison alone. They also state that Valve's actual team that works on Steam has actually shrunk exponentially in recent years. At their peak, Steam was being operated and maintained by roughly 142 of Valve's employees in 2015. These days, that number has shrunk to just 79 people maintaining Steam by 2021. As of right now, we don't even know the exact number, but there were over 11,000 games released in 2021 alone. And that means that Valve's 79-person team handled all of that for Steam, which is absolutely crazy. Even the hardware development side of Valve, which created the Steam Deck, of course, only accounts for roughly 12% of Valve's entire workforce. If you want an exact number, that means the Steam Deck was roughly made by about 42 of Valve's employees, and that's it. And by the way, Steam Deck continues to completely eclipse and devour its competition. As seen here from The Verge, the Steam Deck is bigger and more profitable than all of its competition combined for the past 3 years that the handheld has been available. And many other companies are now trying to replicate what Steam is doing too. Obviously, right now when this video first releases, the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be out as well, and I'm sure people are going crazy about it. And that'll probably make billions for Nintendo, showcasing that between the Switch 2 and the Steam Deck alone, that handheld gaming is alive and very well. And Microsoft was also in the process of making their own handheld, but apparently they have put it on hold because maybe their games are so synonymous with PC games, which Valve dominates, maybe it's pointless to them, but who knows? Sony is also allegedly working on a Steam Deck variant of the PlayStation. Sure, they got the Portal right now, which allows you to stream games to it, and look, I own a Portal, it works well for what it is, but frankly, the fact that I can't play it on a plane, that is a big negative for me. And I would honestly love a Steam Deck variant for PlayStation games myself, but the point is that everyone is trying to copy Steam pretty much is what just keeps happening. And they are the ones on the forefront ensuring that your games don't get cooked by in-game ads by companies who want to nickel and dime you forever if they could, and I mean they would too. Steam is also working to expand their operating system to more devices so people can play their Steam library seemingly anywhere pretty much. They even updated to add an easy-to-see icon system as seen in this picture, showcasing 4 different games. A green check mark means yeah, it's Steam verified, yellow means that it's playable but with some caveats, the circle means nope, and then the question mark means currently that game has not finished its review process to become verified. If you need a more detailed breakdown, here's the actual descriptions of what each logo means as you're seeing on screen here too. However, the point of all of this is really simple. Steam is looking working to expand its operations to as many devices as humanly possible, which is great if you use Steam, but terrible if you're anyone else. Cause how can they compete or even really swindle you to buy games on these new libraries or new devices if your entire already paid for library can be played day one on the Steam Deck? So possibly this isn't fair to the competition, but in reality, it just means one thing, which is, well, who cares? Consumers win in the end, and that's always the best case scenario in my opinion. More competition is never a bad thing. Companies should be the ones jumping through hoops to entice you and not the other way around. And I think if Steam continues to make power moves like this, such as this Steam OS expansion, or how they're completely blocking ads and forcing companies to be real with you, it's only a net positive in the long run. Case in point, Steam is not allowing its competitors nor itself to be to a certain degree to get more greedy, and I think we can all agree that's a really good thing. And I think the more this blockage on ads especially is not allowed, the better we will all be in the end too, especially since Activision Blizzard would rather push more ads to make you pay more while allowing the same game asking for more money to also become overrun with rampant cheaters aplenty, as this Insider Gaming article states. Call of Duty has never been worse. Nadeshot slams cheating situation. Nadeshot, who's the founder of 100 Thieves, who's really influential in the COD space, he actually put Call of Duty on blast, stating that the game right now is absolutely terrible, overrun with cheaters, and Activision Blizzard clearly doesn't care. As Nadeshot said here via Twitter, please watch this by the way.
Honey, I'm about to do a random Call of Duty rant, so don't interrupt me. What you mean? You think Gracie? Yeah. She would never interrupt me. She actually loves me. Gentlemen, listen to me. Call of Duty has never been worse. And I really, again, I do love this game. But oh my God, there was a hacker in almost every lobby we played today. 8 straight hours. Okay? I know that I'm beating a dead horse here. Repeat episode of your least favorite TV show. Yeah, we might be idiots for still playing this game, but I'm not kidding. Hackers in 8 straight lobbies. 8 hours of straight lobbies. There were 8 straight hours of lobbies that were hacked on. There we go. We finished it up. And the other thing, Season 4 launched. Rank play comes a couple days later after all the server issues. If you were iridescent, you either got brought back down to bronze, or you went back down to diamond, like you should have. I know for a fact that me, Scump, Apathy, we got sent back down to bronze. Symphony, that bird, he stayed at diamond. He was already 5,000 SR ahead of me when the rank play season started. And they said that they were investigating reports, but nothing has happened. It's been 5 days. So in a ranked playlist with rewards that are dependent on how much SR you get, they're just saying, yeah, it was all up, but we're not resetting nothing. So, man, frustrated. Oh, gentlemen, we might be, we really might. I mean, it's bad.
And as you saw, the companies wanting to ruin games for you, just frankly, they don't really care. Which is why when companies that do care protect you, it's honestly good to reward them for that. I'm not saying that Valve is the best company to ever exist ever. However, credit where it's due. And when so many companies want you buried in all sorts of fees and more, it's proof that we all need to just call these things out more regularly. And it's good to see that overall gaming is still healthy and it is going well, mostly despite some road bumps, obviously. But like I said, a more uplifting video for once, and overall guys, the message here is you're winning. Basically, that's the point. But that's what I got today. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, but thanks for watching. Subscribe for more news in the future. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.